What is going on, everyone? Trust the buzz here. If you're new to the channel, I make Charlotte Hornets content, so if that interests you, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. We are at 1,200 subscribers. Let's try to get 5K somehow. Not today, but I'm just saying, y'all just been doing amazing with just subscribing. I really appreciate it. Let's keep running that up. If you cannot tell by the thumbnail title of this video, in today's video, we're talking about another terrible game by the Charlotte Hornets overall as a team. There was some, shining stars, but I feel like, this game might have been worse than the first game. And, it was just so much selfish. It was just so blatantly obvious. The first game, it was like, it could be jitters. It could just be, new team. You don't really get that much time to work together in Summer League. This game, it was just so obvious that everybody's out there for themselves. And it was just so frustrating to even watch, and we're going to get into all of it. I'm not going to go too much into Brandon Miller this game just because I really do believe that deserves its own separate video, or else I'll be sitting here talking for 30 minutes. I'm pretty sure y'all don't want to see that. So I'll give that its own video and probably release it, as soon as this one uploads. I'm not going to hold it. But overall, we'll just talk about the game. The two best players tonight, I'm not going to read stats. I know they scored a lot of points, but Summer League stats don't really matter that much to me. But Amari Bailey, Nick Smith Jr. played excellent as shooting guards. They are not point guards. I think Amari Bailey has more upside of being a point guard. It was a little more obvious, but he still has a ways to go. He's still more of a shooting guard. I just think that he has a easier path to become a lead guard, to become a point guard in the league. It's just not there right now. However, his skill, it's there right now. Like his skill overall as a player, can he be an NBA player? Yes. Nick Smith Jr., yes. Nick Smith Jr. has a smooth floater, smooth shot in general. It's just pure. I really like Nick Smith Jr.'s game. He's just more of an off-ball threat, and they're trying to force him to be point guard, and that's not what he is. If anything, I would line Brandon Miller up at the point guard and not do this. But just because I feel like Amari Bailey, Nick Smith Jr., those guys play better off-ball right now in their careers. Brandon Miller is probably the best playmaker on that Summer League roster. Why not have him be the point guard or pseudo point guard, act as a point guard? But I digress. Those two guys, they look pretty good. They gave effort. They gave effort on defense, even though that's not what they're known for. But they were giving effort on defense. They were closing out. They were, stopping the ball handler. The Warriors were just hitting shots. Same way with the Spurs, even though the Spurs and Warriors both just seemed like they were just very well organized, well coached. We do not seem that way at all. I made a tweet that was saying that Nate Oates had a weld oil machine in Alabama, and Brandon Miller he was striving in that. We don't have that at the Summer League. It's all over the place. There is no plan. There is no anything. They just told those guys to go out there and go, and I think Brandon Miller's suffering for it. But like I said, I'll talk about that in that video. Kai Jones, man, he is so athletically gifted. He is extremely athletically gifted. My problem with him is just that his basketball IQ is just horrible. It's just horrible. I don't know. I really wish I knew what was going through his mind, because there's no reason he should be a bad player. Literally, there's no reason. It's just he does everything except like the finishing point. Like he's good at getting, position for the rebound. Doesn't box out. Just think he can out jump everybody. If anything, I would just say he's too reliant on his physical ability and think that's going to put him where he needs to be. And obviously he needs much more than that, but physically just, it's there. There's there's literally no reason he shouldn't be a good basketball player. It's him. Like that's literally all it is. It's him. I think he's in his own way, but skill wise, he has it. I literally believe he has it. He has what it takes to be an NBA rotational player. Just he's got to put it together. Bryce McGowan did not look good today. I said the last game he looked like he was improving, and he is to an extent. So like one thing in particular in this Summer League, I wanted Bryce McGowan to be more aggressive, and he is. He has been way more aggressive than he has been in the past. Like last year, there was a lot of open shots he gave up, a lot of drives to the basket he didn't want to attempt. He's doing all that. I appreciate that. However, I don't want it to be done stupidly. There's a lot of times where somebody's open in a corner, like Brandon Miller, like Nick Smith Jr., like Amari Bailey, like Robinson. I don't remember his first name. These are guys that are open, and he just does not pass it, tries to go up and misses it. So I appreciate him being more aggressive because that's something I personally wanted from him. However, he's not doing it in a smart way, which granted the whole team's not playing smart. So I really don't know how much that's him, but I call it like I see it. He did not play well tonight, even though his stats may look good. I just don't think he played well tonight. There was times he gave up on defense. He has the length. Like, he has the physical tools. Like, a lot of times he kind of like poked the ball out, but the ball, like, it never rolled our way. It was like a game of 2K where you do whatever you can to disrupt the play and the other team still gets the ball. That's what it was like tonight. Bryce McGowan's had a lot of those. He just couldn't grab them in, but he just seemed kind of checked out on defense. James Bouknight didn't look that good. Like, he started off looking really, really good. He started looking off like an NBA player, and that's all I wanted. I don't care if he goes 0 for 10. As long as those 10 shots are good shots, as long as they're open shots or, as open as can be, he's creating. He's just looking good while he does it. He started off so well. He was looking very good, and after that, he just fell off. Now, I will say they took him out, so I don't know if that was they kind of pulled him out his game. But he looked really good. He looked like a NBA rotational player at the beginning, and then it kind of just fell off. So I don't know what happened there. I'm not going to be too judgmental about it just because it is only the second Summer League game, especially considering how well he started off. So maybe like them pulling him out for the extended amount of time he was pulled out kind of messed him back up when he came back into the game. James Nagy, I'm just thinking off the top of my head. I'm not really even have no list or anything like that. James Nagy is a beast. I've said before when I was giving our profile, I like what James Nagy is now compared to what Kai Jones is now, even though James Nagy is only 19 years old. James Nagy is a beast. He needs to work on like small little things like his positioning on the rebounds, physical ability. He bumping people out of the way. He just doesn't really quite get in the best position to, pull down a rebound. But there'll be like 3 people around and he'll still like tipping it, and it's hard for the other team to get it, but then no one else on the Hornets is running up. But it should have even been that if he could get just a little better positioning on the rebound, he could just gobble it up and then go back up, especially on offensive rebounds. He was doing much of the same. So beast, setting hard screens, which Kai Jones doesn't set any hard screens. I mean, this guy, I think he's going to be good. He's going to be so good. He even switched down to the perimeter a couple of times and was locking people up. Like, not necessarily the best defense you've ever seen, but those guys didn't feel comfortable at the perimeter with James Nagy on them. He just made it difficult for them. And when you're a center switched onto a guard, that's all you're looking for is just for them to just give away the ball. And they couldn't get past them, and they really couldn't shoot over them. So props to James Nagy. I can't wait to see just like what that finished product looked like. I think he's going to be a really good player. Who else? Am I missing anybody? I'm talking about Brandon Miller last. I'll just go ahead and say Brandon Miller, and if I'm forgetting somebody, oh well. Brandon Miller, I think he had a good game. I personally do. The fouls is just annoying. Some of those fouls he didn't really belong to him. Some of them were just stupid stuff and like nothing that can't be cleaned up. But then one thing I will say about the fouls that annoys me is that he gets them early, so I can't really see what a good Brandon Miller defense looks like half the game because he's in foul trouble and he's trying not to get more fouls. Like, there was a couple of drives that someone on like Semantis or whatever his name was on Warriors, he was just eating on Brandon Miller, but it was Brandon Miller just kind of like holding back because he didn't want to get that additional foul. But I really wish, hopefully we'll see on Friday, even though Wemby shows up, so I'm nervous about that. But hopefully on Friday we'll see him be able to play to his full potential, especially on defense, because he looked, like I said, he was the best playmaker out there. He was closing out, he was switching. I just wish we could see more of his defense, and I don't think he can't play defense. I think it was the foul. And thinking back to the first game, I think it was more of that too. So that was something that was frustrating, but like I said, I would like to see him just play without the fouls, and hopefully we get that Friday or whenever. I mean, Summer League's long, 4 or 5 games, so we'll have time to see him play hopefully when he's not in foul trouble. He really wasn't able to get the ball. Yeah, I mean, that's really it. I mean, you're playing with 5 shooting guards. It's going to be difficult for people to kind of see you open. There was no plays ran for him, but like I said, I'll go more in depth than that. So you may see the stats and say Brandon Miller had a terrible game. While it wasn't, I'm not saying it was some great game. I am saying that, a lot of that was not his fault. I truly believe that. And I'm not even the biggest Brandon Miller defender. Like I'm not, but I can see basketball and I can see that their team was just doing him no favors at all. So I think that's why he struggles so much. Other than that, I mean, the team is just trash. To be honest with you, it's just the lack of direction. It's what we felt like the Hornets have been like. Like, it's just Summer League, But I felt like I've seen this on the actual Hornets at times, not to this extent because those players are way more talented, but just the up until, well, I will say with Steve Clifford, it looked a little more organized, even though we didn't even have our full team last year. But times before that with James Borrego, it looked very similar to this, where it's just guys just doing whatever. But like I said, the difference here is that I feel as though those guys, our actual roster is just more talented, so it's not as noticeable. It's very noticeable here. Like, there's no plan. We've seen two teams so far in Summer League, the Warriors and the Spurs, and both of them look like well-oiled machines. Both of them look like they came out to play. Both of them look like they had an identity. And everybody gets the same week or two or whatever it is to get prepared for Summer League. Everybody. It's not certain teams no. And then what's crazy is like teams, specifically the Warriors, we'll just use them. None of those guys the Warriors are using to be like, oh, they're going to be on our main roster, except Brandon, I always mess up his last name, but from Santa Clara, the rookie who drafted the 19th overall. That's it. Him and then maybe another person. I don't even know who that would be. But I know Summer League is like a tryout for the whole league, but still, those guys are playing like they play for the Warriors. Those guys are playing like they're on the Warriors roster. Like what we see with Clay, Steph, Draymond, Andrew Wiggins, Jordan Poole when he was there, what we see with those guys, to an electric extent, we're seeing the same action, same plays, similar type of stuff being done for their Summer League team. We don't have that for the Hornets. I remember there was at the end of the second half, first half, there was a crazy play that the coach drew up. We don't have any crazy plays. It's just, all right, try to set a screen here, try to go around it here, ISO here. That's it. The coaching is horrible. It's horrible. So it's really affecting these players. Some of it does fall on the players, of course. They're the ones on the floor. They're the ones making the decisions. But our coaching staff got tightened up, man. This is something that Summer League has been rough for us as Hornets fans. And the reason it's annoying is just because of the fact that it's not like the real team is giving us too much, even though I'm very hopeful for this year that we'll be better, even though the whole PJ thing is going on, which our video will be coming out about that soon. But overall, I like what I saw from Amari Bailey. I like what I saw from James Nagy. I like what I saw from Nick Smith Jr. Nick Smith Jr. and James Nagy are being played out of position. Brandon Miller, to an extent, is being played out of position. All that is a problem. But I like what I saw from specific, like I said, James Nagy, Amari Bailey, and Nick Smith Jr. That's not to say Brandon Miller, I didn't like what I saw. I love what I saw. Great playmaking. But like I said, I will be doing another video on that. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. Like I said, please hit the subscribe button. I'm trying, to just have a better platform for Charlotte Hornets fans. I know that it gets rough for us no matter where you listen to in mainstream media. We're getting clowned. Not saying it's not deserved, but it is frustrating sometimes when you hear people who don't actually actively watch the team. So I'm trying to help change that to an extent, just trying to add different thoughts and opinions to it, because we have guys who do cover the team and they do a good job of it. But, sometimes it needs to be mixed up a little bit, and hopefully I can do that. So the more you subscribe, the more eyes I can get on me and the more opportunities I have to hopefully represent for not just the Hornets. I mean, I feel like Carolina sports in general are being underutilized and underrated in my opinion. But I mean, we have to start somewhere, and the Hornets is that. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.